So we all have seen different approach to circular economy, but we often forget about the third principle, which is regenerate nature. So we already and also know this diagram from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. I just wanted that to make more emphasis in the biological cycle of our materials. And why is that? Because many of our resources come from this, like water, some of our energy, and our food is coming from this. And we are, in my opinion, more focused sometimes in the technical part, on the technical materials, but we also need to focus on this biological. So I don't know, like, how about you? Like, how many of you know what happened with your bio-waste, with your biomeal? Like, do you know what is happening here, the people who is living in Munich? What is do? We know that is a company treating that, but you don't know that they are producing green energy. They also have different kind of fermentation, producing biogas, that they also sell fertilizers for your garden. So it's, of course, all of this is provided that you are correctly separating it. So that is one of the points, and we have seen that circular economy is on the track, and the important shift in design and consumption is happening, but we need to drive a new narrative around economic. Like, we have to be more focused in regeneration and also the redistributions of our wealth and our resources, because that will lead us to better outcomes in people and the planet. So you know that by adopting this third principle, we can shift the priorities, and we will not only focus on what is simply doing less harm, we will focus and try to improve all the damage that we have done. So what is also important is that when we follow all these principles, the more we do, the greater benefit that we will get. So we all know what we are facing together, that we are using twice as the air resources that we have it. Like, we will need to have 2 airs in order to be there. So that's why there is been many actions from cities, from governments, and all these things that we are setting some goals for 2030. Why? Because it's expected that our population keep growing, but this year will be 8.5 billion of people. And what happened that we have an expected demand increase in 30% more food we will need, 40% more water, and 50% more energy. And we are wanting to decarbonize, so we have to focus also on this biological cycle. So we have seen all the constraints that we have when we consumed and produce. We have seen the implications in the environment, and I think that we are in a good path. I'm very positive. I think that we are making many advantages, but of course it's a transition. And in this kind of transition, we need all the players there. We have here in the different presentations, and when we talk about the actions that we can take for our planet, and we think about this goal of 2030, like net zero emission, we must reflect and ask ourselves, like, will that enough? What do you think? Will we be able to recover biodiversity if we just apply in the net zero emission? I don't think so. I think that we have to start regenerating. And as some of the speakers before say, like, we have biomimicry, we have many things that we can learn from nature. So I'm an engineer, but I know that engineers and designers, we are always inspired by nature. We have used it in turbines, in many things like airplanes. So we have to keep being innovative, because we need that for our food resources, for our energy, and we want to survive and thrive a future. So the point is that nature also holds this key to solving the problem. Why? Because in nature, they are able to capturing and storing all carbon in land and oceans ecosystem. And you know what? It is estimated that by protecting and restoring forests around the world, the humanity can achieve around 1/5 of the emission cuts that are needed for 2030. So agroforestry, regenerative agriculture are very important to sequestering carbon in the soil. And of course, we also need to improve the health of these soils and increase biodiversity in all of the surrounding ecosystems. So in a state of degrading them over the time and needing more land to produce our food, we have to improve that and to reduce the pressure of this expansion and making like our food system regenerative. You know that if we have a diversity in the farm's ecosystem, we will have more food. We need also to change something in the supply chains. And big food companies are starting with that. For example, Unilever or Nestle, they're starting to have even every year more and more ingredients that are coming from regenerative agriculture. But as any time you have like any change, you need time to achieve this efficiency. So it's really important that we start now. And also important that we improve our water cycle. Many times we forget about that. We also need to, all these like forests, agriculture, or also in the urban centers, because we need this resilience to climate change. We have seen what happens when we don't have trees, and it's everywhere. Like Munich, we don't have hurricanes, but in Germany, we have seen last year what happened. So while we cannot predict the future, we can shape it through the action that we take now. And we have to really rebalance the needs of the people and the planet. We have to combine both. We need to recover and repair, as I say, what we have damaged. And we have to rethink, maybe also reset the expectation that we have with our interaction with the nature. So we have a very complex world, but also full with new technologies, with advanced new many ideas, and we have seen that we can be able to transform in the long term. So what I would like to show you is like some solutions about circular businesses related to this principle, regenerating nature. So here we have companies and a startup, a green startup from Germany, Klim. What they do is they use digitalization to connect farmers, to empower them, teach them how they can go back to a regenerative agriculture, and at the same time they connect consumers that want to buy these products, also big companies who are needed from these kind of resources. But I will also like to show you other examples. What the city challenge that we ran at the beginning of this year, we have many applications, more than 130 from all over the world. And there were many also considering this principle. So we have here the hydro tower, which is something that you can have it in your balcony. We have a pumping system where you can bring it. Also, there is another app. This one is from Austria, so it's from now. So what is it? It's like the Airbnb for vertical farming. So it's like what we were saying, thinking another kind of business models. So here you can rent your vertical farm. We also have one from Germany, this loop, where they integrate also production of vegetables, but also protein from fish, from algae. And what is amazing from them is that they located like in unconventional location of the city, and at the same time, and what we say about the space, that they are not used, but what they also do is that they educate this community about circular principles and zero waste. We have an initiative or project that was initiated by Cradle to Cradle, which is showing that we can also have fun and run events in another way. It was 4 days where they had a consortium, so one company provided the artists, the other one the biological bathrooms where they recover the water and use it as fertilizer. They have also green energy, do it for micro, like decentralizing processor there. They're also use with day waste, use like composting, and also what I found great is like the stage was built using circular material that had been already circulating many cycles, many times. And also the stands doing like the materials for them, you can recycle and reuse it. So it's a really, at the same time was also an exhibition from circular product like compostable t-shirts. Because as I said, sometimes the cotton that you are wearing is coming from our biological cycle. So there's many things. Also, we have a catering company in Berlin that realized we have a lot of food waste. So instead of throwing away, they thought, okay, what can we do? And they bought or cooperate with a machine where they can produce their own flower fertilizer. They use it there, and when they have a surplus, they also are in cooperations with another company that is called Golden Gardens and provide fertilizers for many parks in Berlin. So we are seeing that there's already many integration over there. And as we see, like in our presentation, the first presentation is like things are not happening the last years, happening many years. And in Munich, what we have is these community urban gardens. There are many associations running in that. So here is only 3 examples from the Grünspitz in Gießen, the Versviertel, another one, and the Ecologische Bildungszentrum, where they also teach the people how to do that. Also, when we talk about neighborhood development, we have here Eugen Prinz in Bogenhausen, where they changed doing this concrete construction for other material as wood. You can see the roofs with very green, and also what is coming in the future. Also in Bogenhausen, this will be a green building in Arabella Park, combination of residential and commercial. So where you have the glass areas and all the plants in the facade. They have the cooperation with Weihenstephan University, where they developed the irrigation system with intelligent sensors. And why is that important? Because we're talking about warming, and we can create also microclimate in our city. And at the same time, like when the plants or the trees are giving us shade, they are also cleaning our air. And they are also serving to reduce the noise of the traffic. So the city, we can be proud that our city is doing many things. And what I want all of you is to do a self-assessment and reflect, have you already taken action? Have you done any circular activities in the last week? Maybe this week is easier because we were celebrating the Circular Week, so you may have here some challenge and may have started doing something, but think about last month. And a more difficult question is like, have you done anything to regenerate the nature in the city that you are living? So that happened to me, that I asked myself many times these questions. And I think also many of you started also to ask it during 2020, what I'm doing and all these things. And for me was that although I had been restoring biodiversity and regenerating nature in the Andes, I wasn't doing anything in Munich, which is the city that I choose to live, where my son was born. So I was really concerned, like, how can I do for my city? So I decided to participate in a hackathon, Circular City hackathon, organized by the Social Entrepreneurs Academy. And during this hackathon, I hear for the first time about a new initiative called Circular Munich. So after that, I participated in some of the meetups. I remember one being about urban mining. And when they decided to become a not-for-profit organization and registered it as that, I joined it. So I will only briefly introduce Circular Munich because I think you will hear more during the workshop. But we are a very diverse community. Like, we are, as I say, I'm engineers, but we have many designers. We have also marketeers, people from different backgrounds, also economics, so teachers. So it's really diverse, also in the different nationalities. What we have in common is that we live in Munich or around Munich, and we wanted to take action. We wanted to shape the future of the city where we are living and join different products. So I already told you about the Circular City Challenge, the meetups that are also offered where we have connected more than 500 actors in Germany, also being part of the Circular Future Festival for 2 years. We also are creating synergies and starting projects like the Good Food Cycle, and all starting visualizing and connecting the circular ecosystem of Munich. But you can see there is a community where you can bring your ideas and decide where you want, different kind of engagement, you will see that. And we also saw that we'll come next to this, to the Circular Campus, that I have been saying that this is a transformation, it's a process where we dream to have a circular design in everything, circular materials, of course, responsible manufacturing, responsible consumption and purchasing. We want to extend life of our products. If we apply all the principles of circular economy, we want that the manufacturers refresh the products, that we repair, that we reuse, share, recover components, and recover materials. But we need many things. We need the policies, we need standards. There are many, many players as in a city. So it's a common question. How can we mobilize the city's stakeholders of the city? So one of the projects that we started, because as I say, like, the city had the goals. I think that people already, as we hear, like Friday for Futures brought a lot of momentum there. Beginning from young people, but also doing around generation. But we don't know how we're going to navigate that. So that's why Circular Munich decided to create a circularity compass. But this is a dialogue with all the stakeholders. So all of the people that want to participate are invited. We are going to start some meeting with many advisors in order to co-create a vision. But how is the methodology? It's also applying what we hear about the theory of change. Because if everyone gets involved, then we will get benefits for all, and at the end, for our city. And Circular Munich have already looked around Munich. We have found more than 200 initiatives, different can be initiatives, NGO, companies, business that are doing, applying circular principles, testing them, because we have to develop new things and validating. But we know, as in every innovation journey that we will face many challenges and block roads. So we want to sit together. We have already identified what are the actions that we can do, like in difference, as a citizen, as a business, as a policymaker. So the different sectors. So it's an invitation that we co-create this vision and also be part of this change and get involved. So an invitation also to participate in the workshop this afternoon, because if I ask you, I don't know, if you really reflect yourself, what have you done? And if you have done, as Daphne said at the beginning, we know that we can do more. So just start being part of this dialogue, start being part of that. And I would like to finish also with a quote. It's an article that I read in the World Economic Fund. It's, as with nature, balance can only be achieved when we all work together for a brighter and more prosperous future.